Thanks, Ken Corla. Well, a few weeks ago, Minister, I got an opportunity, I think, to raise the issue of the housing lists and homelessness in Dublin Bay North with the Taoiseach. And as you know, we have the highest housing list in the country and some of the worst homelessness statistics in the country as well. Bigger, I think, than the whole of Fingal and the whole of South Dublin. You know, I highlighted the fact that in 2015-2017, neither Fingal County nor Dublin City delivered anything significant. You know, you had totals of maybe a house being built in a year or two houses being built in a year, kind of ludicrous. Now, you said you're worried, Minister, and you really should be. You should be worried for your job and for the future of this government, because this is going to be a huge issue in the forthcoming general election. Like, there doesn't seem to be any reason why you don't go the housing emergency route, and as part of that, to perhaps look specifically at Dublin, because if you look at the figures, your figures for February, it's so striking how profoundly Dublin is affected, with 1,329 families out of the 1,739 families who are homeless, and with 1,846 adults out of the total of, and then a total of 2,801 dependents, children, of the 3,755 children. And it does seem that the argument, that there is a profound argument, I think, for perhaps having a Dublin housing executive under some kind of dynamic leadership. And that's the reason I've always supported having a mayor for Dublin, because it does seem to me, despite cutbacks and all the rest, we just don't, and we haven't had the dynamic leadership at local level that we need to address these profound issues. But it is totally shameful, Ministers, that 488 children were made homeless in 1 month, and that's a net figure, and we know that others have been diverted away from homelessness, and some have been housed, most likely in the private rental market through HAP. And media reports are saying that, of course, an extra 488 children became homeless. But the reality is, Minister, of course, that those children and their families were made homeless. Certainly, I'm not sure of your information clinics, but the ones I conduct, virtually everybody I meet who is seeking homeless is being evicted, is being put out of their home. That's the reality. I don't know where this fantasy that Conor Skeen and other people came up with, that's not the reality I face. The reality I will see this weekend and every other weekend is people being evicted from greedy landlords, and from the whole housing mindset that your party personifies in support of landlords and in support of developers. As I said, I don't know how many more times myself and all our colleagues on this side of the House can implore you to declare a housing emergency and to use emergency measures to CPO and CLO vacant properties, to build urgently on local authority land, and to reduce rents down to affordable levels, in other words, to cap rents and to follow some of our continental administrations in the European Union, and whether we go on a cost rental or other model, we do need a massive programme of public building. And a simple economics, Minister, we know that developers and landowners, they are withholding supply to push up prices. We know that because of the lack of affordable rental properties, that many are living in dangerous and overcrowded accommodation, and the rental market has become so competitive that there's little hope for people on lower incomes or in receipt of state housing supports to acquire such property. And I just wonder, I mean, the Minister himself has left, but he's the kind of a guy, I think, who knows the situation. He's not a fool. He can see that there's very little type of housing availability there in the market for under 175,000 euros. And if you're earning a minimum wage and have an annual salary of around 20 to 25,000 euros per year, Ministers, how do you expect people and families in that situation to be able to get deposits together, and with the loan-to-value ratio set at 3.5 times your salary, you'll still have substantial savings? I was just saying, Minister, that you seem like a smart individual, and I don't understand how you can't see that there is no affordable supply, and that most normal working families on lower incomes haven't a ghost of a chance of getting into the affordable housing market. Houses that are available for under the 200,000 euros mark on Daft and other sites are being targeted, of course, by greedy, profit-hungry landlords and speculators who know they can have low mortgage repayments with those prices and then charge double or triple the rent. And as I said, obviously the rental situation, nobody, neither yourself or your predecessor, the Tánaiste, or anyone else before you for the last 10 years has addressed the escalation of rents. But the bottom line is this morning, Minister, 3,755 children are homeless. You're responsible, and you should take dramatic action, especially at the level of the 4 Dublin counties, to sort this out.
Thank you. Deputy Michael Collins, please.